Good afternoon, everyone. Brandon here, and kind of a different video. A lot of times we're working around here, and we've been off for a while camping, so that's been a lot of fun. And I wanted to just talk about fishing for a little bit. I am by no means an expert fisherman. I think I do okay, but I'm not your big YouTube fisherman. Guys like one of my favorites to watch is Fishing with Norm. He's my favorite fisherman to watch. He just makes his content so interesting, I think. But there's a lot of other ones as well. But I'll give a shout out to Norm because his stuff just something about the way he does it's just good fishing fun. But anyways, in a lot of those videos, they'll show you these expensive versus cheap combos, and they'll get like the Ozark Trail one. Now we all know Ozark Trail fishing rods is not going to be great. It'll catch fish, but it's not going to be great because it's like $9, I think it is. So if you're someone like me and you want to take your wife fishing and she doesn't have a pole, but you've been spending so much money getting the homestead going, you want a fishing pole, $20-ish, maybe something a little nicer than the Ozark Trail. And that's where I tend to lean a lot towards Shakespeare lately. They have, and this is it here if I can hold it up here, a Shakespeare Reverb. Now, if you're a professional fisherman, you're going to laugh at that because, well, let's just see here. I think it has 2 bearings. Now, I don't even know if it says. But the gear ratio is 5:5 to 1. I don't even know what that means. But for the most part, if you're just trying to catch some fish, the Shakespeare Reverb actually has a lot of good feel. And it does what you need it to do. Okay, so I just looked, and it's only 1 bearing. So if you're really into fishing, you're probably not going to like this. But this video isn't for those people who are looking to spend hundreds of dollars. This is for somebody who's just looking for a solid good rod. It's got really good feel for how cheap it is, and that's what I like. It's got a little bit of a backbone to it. What do they call it? They just call it a medium. So it is supposed to be a 5'6" rod, and it is a medium. Now, if you're looking for something, that is a great rod. I really like that. My other suggestion to you is watch for the off season. Up here in Michigan, Meyer, in the off season, I have actually been able to get some pretty nice fishing rods during the off season. And let's see if I can show those to you guys here real quick, if you hold on. So I actually got a duck under the roof here. I actually use, well, they're buried in here, but Lunker Hunt. They're Lunker Hunt Sublimes, and they're actually a fairly expensive fishing rod. But again, off season at Meyer, right before winter, I think I paid $9 for them. I think they're like an $80 fishing rod. So if you are looking for a cheap way to fish, look for those if you want a slightly nicer one. But don't be afraid to try out, like I said, the Shakespeare Reverb. I've actually been fairly impressed with it. I broke one of them, not catching a fish. I slammed it in the door of my rod area on my boat. So don't do that. But you watch these fishing videos, and I love watching them too, but they make you feel like you have to get this really expensive stuff. The Googan Squad, I love their stuff. I've never caught a fish on it. Love their videos. I always end up going back to what most of them would probably laugh at, and that's a K&E Rival spinning worm. So here, let me show you that. So this is the Rival spin worm, and I've got one on here that's pretty beat up on that fishing pole I was just telling you about. But it's got 2 hooks and a spinner. And you can add a sinker to it if you want. But, you're looking at $2. It's got the hooks in it already. This will catch you a decent sized bass. I just caught a couple 15, 16 inchers on this on our camping trips. And that'll do that. We've caught pike on these when they don't bite through it. But what's fun is you'll catch the crappie, you'll catch the panfish. So if you're like me and you're fishing to eat most of the time, not for sport, these will do the trick up here in Michigan. And this purple color, usually the best, but they actually have a black right now. I don't know if I have any, but black, I'm all out of black right now. But black has been really good this year. I actually have a joke in my family. I refuse to call the black. I always call it purple, because purple worms have always been good. And because these ones are doing so good this year, I was like, oh, it's dark purple. So my wonderful wife came up with the name Midnight Purple, which I think is great because we all know it's black. But then it gets me away with calling it purple still. So just a couple little tips, I guess. Don't feel like you got to buy the most expensive thing out there. Go to Walmart. Don't be afraid to try the one bearing Shakespeare if you're just trying to catch some fish to eat. You know, as long as you're not going for something ridiculously huge. I wouldn't deliberately try to catch pike on it. But if you're going for some bass, you're going for some crappie, you're going for some gills here, especially in Michigan, it'll do the trick. And you'll be shocked. I actually really like it. That thing cast a mile, that Shakespeare Reverb. So just wanted to give you a little thought on fishing. I fish probably every week, almost, at least once a week. And I'm not buying the hundreds of dollars worth rods. I'm sure if I had one, I'd love it. But that's just not in the budget here on the homestead. You know, I spend too much on those little spinner worms. So, yeah, feel free to try out some of the cheaper stuff. You know, don't feel like you always have to buy the stuff they tell you need to buy in the videos, as much as I love those videos. Test out some smaller stuff, guys. Try it out. I'm going to give you a plug for those K&E spinner worms. Give them a try. They look silly. You might be shocked. Throw it out there. Slowly retrieve it. See what bites. We'll catch you next time.